Hi. So I'm going to do this review as a taped session so that you can watch it when it's convenient for you. And Jose, hopefully you get an opportunity to watch this before our exam and that it will be useful for you. So we've been looking at Canadian organizational behavior, and we really began the first week defining organizational effectiveness and what is an organization. And an organization is really made up of people, way more than the buildings and structures and things like that. And so the majority of the content has really been focused on understanding the individual, personalities, behavior, motivation, values, decision making, everything about how people, what motivates them, what make them tick, what make them behave in the ways that they do. Because if an organization is really made up of people, then organizational behavior is really about people's behavior at the heart of it. Ultimately, when you have a unified group of people behaving in a consistent pattern, that creates culture. And so we had this whole discussion around organizational culture. So at the heart of what we've been talking about, it's about what makes organizations effective by understanding the people. And what can we, who are leaders within organizations or people working in organizations, what do we need to know in order to make organizations more effective? So I hope you caught that as we were going through week by week and all the little details. I kind of felt like sometimes we lost what it is we were studying and how it was applied to the big picture. So the exam, I want to take you through the exam so that there's no surprises for you on Wednesday. The format for the exam is pretty much the same as what you saw at the midterm. It's half of it is going to be multiple choice questions and half the short answer questions. By short answer, I'm looking for paragraphs that sufficiently describe an answer to the question. I know some of you struggle with your English, and if so, I'm not grading you on your grammar for this. I'm really looking for the content. Specifically, I'm looking to know if you understand the content. So if you are writing a sentence and you don't know how to write the sentence, if you can give me a real enough that I know you understand the content, that is what I'm looking for. It's great when I can see you writing in good English, and some of you do better than others. Just really get across what I need to know. Prove to me that you understand the content. That's what those questions are about. The multiple choice questions, let's talk about them for a minute. There are what you need to know about what that is focused on. I went through after the midterm with some of the questions that a lot of you seem to have difficulty with. And so when I went back and looked, a number of you had difficulty, particularly with Chapter 7. So I'm not sure what happened in Chapter 7, but there were a lot of struggles with the questions related to Chapter 7. Some of those questions are going to be back on this exam, similar or maybe even the same. I don't know. But they will be repeat questions on this exam on the content that you had trouble with. So I suggest to you, study your midterm exam and ensure that you don't make the same mistakes twice. That would be a good place to start. There are some new questions, of course, from that first half to kind of blend in with there. But the majority of that exam really covers the content from Chapter 8 to 15. So I think we did Chapters 8 and 9 before the midterm, but it was the week before. I've carried some of that into this, into emphasis into this, which was on the team and team processes. So the best way to study for those multiple choice questions is to ensure you are familiar with the content from the first half of the term. That's partly because that's really foundational to what we've been talking about in the second half. Review your midterm, make sure you don't make those same mistakes twice. Remember that organizational effectiveness and the theories we've been discussing are not only theories to be memorized and definitions to memorize. I really need to know that you understand the concepts and how they are applied in specific situations. So some of those multiple choice questions are really around the definitions, and some of them are around how would you apply these theories in a particular example. And ensure you understand those models from the first half of the course. So somewhere I'm posting the terminology sheet that I gave you for the midterm. It doesn't have any of the highlights that you did when we went through. So make sure you've got your highlighted sheet and you look specifically at the ones that I told you to focus on. That would be a good emphasis. And but the new sheet I posted has the terminology from this second half of the term. So that'll be helpful for you, I hope. What models do you think you need to focus on? So as you begin to think about kind of all the models that we looked at, what might be on those short term or the short answer questions? Where might be the emphasis? So here's some helpful hints. And I suggest you take a look at stages of team development. We talked about that even at the midterm, that would be a focus on this, so it's there. Sources of power, and you had a in-class assignment, or it was homework that I gave you and you went away and did on sources of power. Make sure you fully understand that. That assignment was really, there were a lot of errors in it, so hopefully I go through that with you tomorrow in terms of understanding some of the specific sources of power, so review those and be very clear about them. Strategies for dealing with conflict. There is a section in your textbook that talks about those strategies, and again, you'll find that in the PowerPoints that are posted. All of these will be in those PowerPoints that are posted next to the various weeks that we had in the term. So they're by chapter. Go ahead and look at those. Look at the leadership competencies and understand those generally, what they are, and have some ideas and know some of them, if not all of them. I think there were 7, but have some pretty good understanding of those leadership competencies. Organizational culture. This is my area of expertise, organizational culture and change. So of course there is going to be questions on the exam related to culture. Both the elements of organizational culture, remember that's the things you can see and the things that are hidden under, and the deciphering of those elements. How do you decipher those? What are the things you're looking for? You need to be able to understand, and that's the application of the elements of organizational culture. Minimizing resistance to change. You should have a fairly good broad understanding of what are the different strategies to minimizing resistance to change, as well as the approaches to organizational change. And I think there were 2 or 3 that I asked you to focus on. The 2 that come to mind immediately, maybe there was a third, was the action research and appreciative inquiry. Those are 2 really important ones for you to understand. I think there was another 1 or 2. I didn't say you needed to know all of them, but I know that there was those 2 and perhaps a third. So that should get you do all of that, and you should be well set up and ready to go for the exam next Wednesday. If you have any other questions, send me a note. I'm happy to answer it for you. I can't think of anything else to cover related to the exam, but that should set you up well. I've really enjoyed teaching you guys this term. You're a great group of people, and I'm so impressed that you have had a desire to come to Canada and obtain a degree in English, and I just can't imagine how difficult and challenging that must be. So you really amaze me. It takes a great deal of planning and courage to get a visa, travel across the world, get accepted into a university, leave family and friends behind, and come and arrive here at Acsenda. And I just want to encourage you to continue with that same energy to complete your degree. So enjoy the opportunity to learn some new things, broaden your understanding of organizational life, and there may come a time when you want to come back again and maybe take a master's. And if that's so, I hope that my toughness and my APA determination to teach you APA a little bit more and that attention to detail will have set you up well for that opportunity to take your master's degree. And you're certainly all capable of doing it, and it's just a matter of applying yourself to that place. So I wish you every success on Wednesday. I will be there. See you for that final exam, and all the best this week. Remember, sleep is overrated. You will have plenty of it once your exam period is done. So enjoy, and make sure you celebrate all the hard work you've done this semester after the exams are done. Anyway, I'll see you Wednesday.